Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference. I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. My cohort in crime, Dr. Cassandra Bradford Wilson with Genesis Preferred Solutions, is off getting an award, being a smarty pants, going to red carpet stuff. So I can't brag on her enough. As long as she can't hear me, I'm going to tell you she's awesome. If she's sitting here, I have to push her because I have to, keep up that princess image. But she is amazing. I am super excited about who we have with us today on this session. I don't even know what to say because when I met this woman, she was all that in a bag of chips. And she was so sweet to me. I felt so intimidated because, I'll get into that in a minute. I'll tell you the story. This is the past regional advisor for Toastmasters, Miss Monnica Ballard Rose. Yay! So glad to have you. So much, just so grateful that you were willing to come on and talk about Toastmasters and some of my vulnerable bits. I'll have to tell my story about that part.
Well, it's a pleasure, Kim. Thank you so much for the invitation. It is my honor.
Oh, you're so welcome. I did a luncheon for my church business groups, and I wanted to teach them some things about social media because that's what I teach is social media, and I teach about business. Well, I had about 30 businesses in the room, and I was talking to them, and I was stuttering and doing all my ums and ahs, and just couldn't really do a very good. I did a terrible job, is what I really did. And I got finished. Everybody in the room loved me, so they all said, "Oh, you did such a good job," except for one that was awesome and honest, and that was my pastor. He said, "You have a treasure chest inside of you, and you're not sharing. You need to go to Toastmasters." So I tell the world that he banished me to Toastmasters. And, I showed up. This was Friday. And on Monday night, I was in Rhonda Green's club in Tulsa, Oklahoma, trying to figure things out because I didn't want to be in trouble.
Wow.
So this is a far cry from where I was then. It's amazing that the thing that happened, but just to keep you updated, Miss Monnica, when I went to that first meeting, I held my breath and I put my fingers together and I stood on one leg and I spoke as fast as I could possibly speak so that I could just sit down. It was really hysterical is what it really was. Looking back, I'm thankful because I was terrified of people. Speaking in front of them. Have you always been able to just speak in front of everyone?
Oh, no. I had that same. My very first time I spoke in front of a group, my hands shook uncontrollably. The paper, you can almost hear it rattle. And I'll tell you, I had the same encouragement from someone to join Toastmasters, and I am so glad that I did.
Well, and you took it to a whole nother level by going all the way up to regional advisor.
Yeah, I think once I got involved and I saw the transformation that I experienced in my own life and were surrounded then by other people who had the same or similar stories that I had, I could see that this was a program that I wanted to stay attached to. And it was just that genuine interest of me learning and growing in a club environment where I started, and then expanding and meeting other people in an area. Toastmasters has different pockets of groups where you can meet more people. And as you progress through your communication tools and your leadership tools, you can go out and meet other people who are doing the same thing in your city. I am in the city of Dallas, and my home club was in a little city east of the city of Dallas in Greenville, Texas. And that's where I started. And by the time I met so many people in the Dallas area, oh, wow, we had fun. We learned, you could get tips on how to be a better speaker. And I learned from some of the other speakers. So it was just an amalgamation of or just a collection of the best of all of the people that I had met. And so they were like my silent mentors. And you take a little note here, or I would write mine in a journal so I had it at a glance where I can look at it and say, oh yeah, I remember what that person did in this situation. And I just put it all together, and I get to have the best of a lot of worlds. And people are so nice in their sharing of their own goals, sharing of best practices and learning, and willing to mentor you or just to be that sounding board so you can get a chance to benchmark your speeches with them, and they'll give you advice. They're really giving their time. This was one place I know I wanted to stay and to continue learning. Every time I go to a Toastmaster event, I learn something new. Today, I completed my TLI training. This is where I learned my role as an officer. I've served in several roles as an officer, and so to come to training today was an eye-opener because there were so many new people there that I didn't know, and I learned some of the things that they are doing in their classroom or in their officer roles in their clubs. So I took notes, and this was my learning opportunity. I was so excited that I could take something back to my club. So knowing that everywhere you go in Toastmasters, you will learn something new, you will meet new people, and it took me, a shy, introverted person as an engineer, and turned it into a person where when I walk into a room, I have no more fear of saying the wrong thing. I know that I can start a conversation, I can participate in a conversation, and if someone asks me to speak, I know how to present myself in 1 to 2 minutes, because Toastmasters teaches you skills in a program we call Table Topics. I knew that I wanted to stay on this program because I knew it would help me overcome that fear. And that's why I'm here. I can still learn and be that vulnerable person and know that I have a support system around me. I'm so glad you asked that question. I know I took the long way around that to answer it, but Toastmasters has just done so much for me and for so many people that take the time and know that the money they spend is money well spent on helping you be a better communicator and leader.
Well, and one of the biggest things I appreciate about Toastmasters, and you are part of this secret sauce, I'll just tell you, that you probably don't even realize, is that Toastmasters is a safe place to practice, because we get, people just want to be awesome at being a speaker, but I don't know anyone who just all of a sudden wakes up one day and they're just this incredible speaker. We all need to improve every part of our, public speaking, impromptu speaking, like you're talking about the table topics. But I can tell you, I said some really dumb things because I was so scared. I would, get my words tangled up, or I would stutter, or I would do something that, did not come across the way I wanted it to. And Toastmasters gave me a safe place to practice and to change that. I've given, I think I'm at 800 and something. I've given over 800 speeches. Wow. And, that would have never happened if I didn't go the first time. That would have never happened if I didn't show up. And Rhonda was really good to me. When I walked in there, she knew I was terrified. And she pushed me. She pushed me to learn. But another part of Toastmasters, I'm just going to sing their accolades for a second. Another part of Toastmasters is another thing that you represent really well, and that's the leadership side. There's the public speaking side, but there's also the leadership side where you actually get skills to implement your speaking, in practical ways, because you have leadership projects that you do. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I just want people to understand all about Toastmasters from a newbie's perspective, from somebody who's never heard of Toastmasters or doesn't have any idea. Can you kind of describe the way it all works?
Yes, I can do that. When I joined Toastmasters, I wanted to improve my communication skills, and I found that in giving speeches. But what I didn't know was there was the leadership component that would help someone be a better leader. With that, in the club environment, you'll take different leadership steps. One is being a Toastmaster. One is being the timer. You're responsible for keeping time of the meeting. So you start with some of the smaller leadership projects in that manual, and you'll have the information on how to perform that role, and you'll be evaluated on how well you did that. That's part of our competent leader manual that you earn credit for in the leadership capacity. That's at the club level. And one of those leadership opportunities allows you to serve in the district as an area director. Now, this is a year-long project that you are responsible for conducting meetings with a team of people. You are motivating and encouraging other leaders. You have someone who mentors you, that would be the district director. So you're able to perform in that leadership role and not necessarily have all the answers, but you have a leader that will help you along in that journey. But you are the head person, you're the focal point for a group of people or a group of clubs to help them with their leadership, or they're achieving their responsibility to themselves as a member in Toastmasters. Once you complete that leadership level there, then you can go into other areas of leadership, and they each build upon the previous opportunities for leadership. So your next leadership level should pull you and make you or allow you to grow in stronger areas. So with that, you can go everywhere from an area director to I was responsible for building clubs and members. That's another leadership opportunity where you're involved with more people, you're having more meetings, you're encouraging and empowering others as a leader in that role. One thing I'm really proud to talk about today under leadership is, and this will stretch me again, as a region advisor, I was responsible for encouraging 7 districts in a particular region to achieve their goals, and did that through serving as a counselor sometimes, encouraging them to look at different statistics on improving their member reach in their areas. But one area that I knew I wanted to continue growing on was to host a conference in my home district. So this is my leadership opportunity. I am the leader of that as the fall conference chair. And I just explained to our program quality director today that I may not have all the answers. I am the vessel. That's what a leader is. A leader steps up to take the chance to grow themselves, but to grow others and to share some of the things that I've learned along the way. So through this fall conference that will be happening November 17th in the Dallas area, I will have a team of at least 17 chairs who will be responsible for their particular aspect of the conference. So you take someone who is collecting everybody, who is the collector, they're the leader, they're empowering others. So in this job, I'm motivating and inspiring them to achieve their goals, and they are going to earn their leadership responsibility there on their different path that they're working for. So it's just a wonderful opportunity on how you integrate some of the communication, because you'll be giving speeches, so you can work that program, that side of the Toastmasters program. But as a leader, you are in a role where you can actually run a corporation. You're CEO of a corporation by the time you're done. In so many respects that you're responsible for education, you're responsible for budgeting. There's a budget component that's part of the conference. So you get a chance to see all the different aspects and be a leader in that role. There's a lot of information into that, but if you look under the Toastmasters program itself, it's all done at a self-pace, and You can have as many mentors as you can along the way, and they all help you grow in a safe environment.
That is so awesome, Miss Monica. Because, when I started thinking about chairing anything, I'd run because I was so terrified. I was just terrified, period, of the whole process. And when I came in and I was treated so sweetly and then encouraged, just to do my first manuals, not to do all the things all at once, it really does help because to what, like today, you're able to do an entire conference, and that's a big conference. Go back to, the first time you walked in the door, your big, hurdle that day was just to get your icebreaker speech done. I mean, there's a process.
Definitely. When I talk about process, if I could just step in right here, to talk about process, when I explain this if I'm doing a workshop or just talking to a small group, I always like to link it with McDonald's. If you know the owner, Ray Kroc had a philosophy where if he brought people in, employees, to come in and work in his corporation, he wants them to know every aspect. So the first job at McDonald's might be to be the person on fries. You will make all the fries that day, or if you're working 8 hours, you will make those fries. The next leadership opportunity for you at McDonald's might be to run hamburgers and then quarter pounders. Then you might work at the front counter and taking orders. But by the time you can apply for the manager role, you will know every aspect of that corporation. So you can effectively lead and mentor and manage everyone else that next person that comes in on fries, you are now the expert who they can look to ask questions. And Toastmasters is very much the same way. When you come in, you learn how to be more confident in your speaking roles. And once you're able to see the bigger picture, what's the next big picture for you to see that you can receive at that point, you can take that next step. And then you know that you have that person who mentored you on fries back at McDonald's, to look at it in metaphorically, you can go back to that person who served as an area director, that leader. You can go back and ask them things. So the beauty is you take strategic steps to continue to learn and to grow. And you can go as high as club growth director, district director. You can even be a region advisor, but they all are building from the skill that you learned at that very first meeting. You're absolutely right.
Well, and I will tell you, I wouldn't be doing the Hope to Hope conference. I just got off tour with the Run Women's Conference. I wouldn't have done that. I mean, I have been doing incredible things based on getting over myself, because that's what I think it really was all about. I was so consumed with I was going to make a fool out of myself that I would just make a fool out of myself. When you're scared or you're holding your breath and standing on one leg. I mean, I just laughed today. Today it wouldn't bother me at all. But at the time it was huge. It was just a really huge deal. So I am so grateful to leaders like you and Rhonda Green. I mean, you guys, you believed that I could do something that I didn't know for sure I even wanted to do, and I sure didn't know if I was capable of doing. And yet you all, and it was methodical, it couldn't be all at once, but you all encouraged me along the way to get to where I actually am today. And not everyone goes on to have a speaking career or, go on tour and things like that. But that is the outcome for a lot of them. You have corporate meetings to run, or you have just even a manager. A manager learns how to speak to other people. There are so many different facets to Toastmasters. Tell us your favorite Cinderella story. Tell us your favorite story of someone who came in and was one way and left another way.
Wow. Let's see. Give me just a minute to think about that. I'll start with myself, and then I'll start with someone that I'm inspired by that has been a role model for me. I'm an engineer. I mentioned that. And we like to live in our L7 square role environment. I like to go to my office, and if I could close my door and just do my job and not have to talk to anybody, I would be happy with that. But I know I can't function that way. But through Toastmasters and through going through the program, knowing that I have to get up and give presentations. And one of the projects in that very first manual, we talk about the Competent Communicator Manual. That manual has a project called Getting Comfortable with Visual Aids. So in my presentations with my customers who are the Air Force, I have a presentation that I would do that I've done after my final design. It's called a design review. So we will display different things that the customer has asked us to install on the airplane. And we go through each level and say, this is what you've asked for, this is what you paid us to do, and this is what we've done. If we're able to successfully do it with the budget that we're given, then that's fine. But if we have to deviate, this is also something that we have to tell our customers. So I've gone through this whole entire presentation, and I've answered all of the customers' questions ahead of time. So that left them that day with very minimal questions. At the end of the presentation, my project manager stood and said, Monica, that was one of the best presentations that I've ever seen. And it was through, I give the credit to Toastmasters. I got out of there from that meeting, and the Air Force is a very tough customer. They had very minimal questions. And there was only one other question that came from an electrical engineer in the group to ask if I had verified a particular height on a unit that we installed, maybe at one of the touch screens. And I had done my homework, because Toastmasters teaches me to do my homework. I have to be ready when I present. And that made the difference. Now, the person that has inspired me the most in Toastmasters, and it's really more of a mentorship relationship, I have in our home district a past international president. And I know that if there's anything that I had a question on, she's taken every level. She has experience in every level of the organization, so I can go to her. This lady, not only did she serve as international president, she is her own boss of Leaders on Fire. And she will do presentations throughout the Dallas area. She's co-founded an organization called WOVI, Women of Visionary Influence. And to see that lady take her Toastmasters experience to be her own boss, to have her own organization, is just so inspiring. So that's the transformation that I see that Toastmasters can be. You have a voice no matter where you are, how you are. If you have an idea, you can use your skills, and Toastmasters, what Toastmasters teaches you to take yourself from where you are now to the highest you'll ever be, because you are confident, you are powerful, you can be whatever you want to be, you can say whatever you want to say, because you are considerate, you are a leader, you are a listener, and you're a learner. And you are amazing no matter where you are, because confidence is what you get from all of the things that you can learn in the program.
Well said, Miss Monica.
I am so excited. I learned something new about you, Kim. I did not know that you had all of those hours of speaking behind you, and you're continuing to learn and to have a platform to share with others. I love this format of going live on Facebook. This is awesome. So see, this is my second learning opportunity for today on me coming out of the getting connected with social media and to have that much more experience. So I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity to learn from you today.
You're so welcome. You know, that's a princess life. That's what we do all day long. Princesses just look for opportunities. Well, tell us again when your conference is, because I'm thinking that maybe if we're in town, we travel all the time, but I'm thinking maybe we'll be close to you and maybe we'll just drop by.
Absolutely. That is November 17th. I think it was November 17th and 18th. It's that weekend of the 17th. And we start on Friday night. We have a pretty relaxed event on Friday. We have one of our contests. It is the evaluation contest that will be happening that night. And on Saturday, we will have the humorous speech contest. So you'll get a chance to hear a speaker, and there will be 7 evaluators. So that speaker will get evaluation tips from 7 leaders, and that person will have an opportunity to grow. But then on Saturday, oh my, if you're ready to laugh or you need laughter in your life, you will hear some of the 7 best humorous speeches given that night. It will be amazing. So we hope if you are available and are in the area, you're definitely welcome to come, because you know what? Wherever you're a Toastmaster in your home city, you are also a Toastmaster where you travel. So you can
definitely. Well, I know another secret too. You get to come to those conferences. You just buy your ticket. You don't even have to be a Toastmaster. So if someone's listening and they're not a Toastmaster, they can come and see the grand finale, basically, of how awesome Toastmasters is by coming to the conferences. I think there was a couple of different girlfriends of mine that came to a conference, and of course they joined and they're addicted now too, but that's what happens is you find out you've got a safe place to be, just to be vulnerable. I mean, we're going to go back to the reason for this Hope to Hope conference. Is just talking about all the leaders that you look at and you think they've got it all together and they were just born that way. But we've all been through stuff, and we've all come through things that we were, insecure in, or we've messed up. Some things are inflicted on us and some things we self-inflict. And I definitely was inflicting fear when I tried to do speaking at first. I couldn't even do a little meeting without just wanting to, throw up.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was bad. Wow. And now I laugh because if somebody says, hey, come over and do this thing, okay. I pack my tiara and away I go.
Oh, that's right.
You'll have to go and see my picture on my social media, on my Facebook, because last week I was at the Run Women's Conference finale. I did the tour with Dr. Cassandra Bradford. Okay. And I had an allergic reaction to something, so I looked like a bobblehead. My head was swollen. And so instead of staying home, I put on my tiara and my red formal dress and came out to turn down for what? So we don't turn down for anything when we're a Toastmaster.
If you are afraid, you don't show it. You just go through the motions and everything will work out, because you know that there will be friendly faces in the audience there wishing you much success.
Yes. Miss Monnica, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for coming on. I just am so proud of you because, I told you before we went live how much you had blessed me when I met you, because you were so kind to me. And I was still struggling with that, being a fraidy cat. So.
You should not have been. I am so glad. Thank you. It was my honor to be here and to spread the good news of Toastmasters to so many. I hope you all will consider it, because it's definitely been a life changer for me, and you can see for our host, Kim, as well.
Yes, wise investment. That's what I call it. It's a very wise investment. And when you get your flyers for the conference, be sure and tag us. Tag us in my social media, and I'll put it out there to our peeps.
All righty. Thank you so much. Will do.
Thank you, Miss Monnica. This is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I am honored to have been with Miss Monnica Ballard Rose. She is an amazing woman and a phenomenal speaker. And she's like me. She came from not really wanting to be the speaker to being able to walk in a room and just handle it. We just handle it now. And so Dr. Cassandra Bradford Wilson, I don't know where you are, Miss Genesis Preferred Solutions. You're getting your award about now, and I'm jealous because you're out there probably eating cake without me. So congratulations on your award. We hope that you're having a good time. And we will be back in the next session at 5:30. It is an exciting session. You don't want to miss it. So I love you guys. It's a Hope to Hope conference. We'll see you in a little bit.
Good night. Bye-bye.